Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the Surecom SR112 Portable Emergency Simplex Repeater. If you're into ham radio or just getting started, this might be something that really piques your interest, so let's check it out. Alright, first I'm going to explain what exactly this item is. Now, if you have a handheld radio and you might be far off in the distance and not be able to communicate with somebody else, what this will do is allow you to communicate with somebody else, possibly further away from you. In other words, you don't have to worry about line of sight because this will be set up somewhere higher up elevated than everybody else. Kind of like a traditional repeater works. However, that's where the similarities end. A simplex repeater records transmissions that come in and retransmits them on the same frequency. So this kind of has the effect of doubling the time required to transmit a message. While a traditional repeater costs thousands of dollars and may be semi-portable at best, something like this is an amazing little thing for an emergency setup. If you live in an area where your repeaters heavily rely on the electrical grid and they all go down at the same time, you can take something like this, and yeah, it's not the most convenient thing to use, but you can set up a repeater. Now, I happen to have a really nice high-gain 2-meter 440 220 antenna set up at my property here, so that's probably where this is eventually going to get connected when I need it. I won't be running it every day because I'm not here to control it all the time, and I want to make sure I'm in control of it. But it's a really, really handy little thing. So basically, you're going to talk on your radio, you're going to unkey your radio, and you're going to hear your message back. But so will everybody else. So it requires a bit of a learning curve for the people that you're working with to be able to use an item like this, but it's really not all that difficult. Once you see it in action, and we will demo it, once you see it in action, you'll understand how simple it is to use. Now, a simplex repeater can be set up with a single handheld radio operated from batteries, as is this as well, and it makes a perfect disaster response type communication system. Good for campground use, maybe for your home, like we're going to set it up here. Any place where radio range needs to be extended, but the cost and complexity of a traditional repeater can't be justified. So for me, all right, like I said, if my repeaters in town were down and I needed a way to keep people communicating, this can be set up in a portable package as well as a home package. And we are going to do a build out on this. I'll get to that later, where I have a portable kit with me and it can be either plugged into my power bank here or taken on the road with me, and I can mount this. I can connect this to my car, my vehicle antenna, and use it in a smaller condensed area. Another interesting factor about this is the SR112 also has a voicemail function. So if I were to, say, leave this up all the time and people wanted to leave me a message on here, they could do that. They would transmit, they'd hear their message back, and I could go back and hit my star 71 on my DTMF keypad, and we're going to be talking about DTMF tones, but they're the tones that they make when you push these buttons, similar to when you're dialing a telephone. So I can go back and listen to those messages people left me. We will be setting this up to do that eventually. Right now, I'm still in the kind of learning phase of this thing. It's very simple to operate. It comes pre-configured and ready to go. That's why we're going to show you really kind of close range here how it works. Once we get this thing built out, I do have a Pelican case that I'm going to be using for it. Once we get this thing built out, and that's probably what I'm going to use, this Pelican case, then we can move on. Now, I'm not going to do the case that I'm going to build with this. I'm not going to put the power in it. I want the power to be a separate unit from it so I can use that power to do anything. And I have another build that I'm going to try to do on camera of the power station being built actually right here in the studio. This can also send out messages, say, every half hour, hour, whatever. So if you want to say identify on your simplex repeater, and if you want to say this is W7 blah 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 blah, simplex repeater, please key up and wait a minute to hear your transmission back, you can do that, and it will do that. You have all your displays pretty much down here, and it's kind of complicated in a way, but it's also really, really simple. It's so simple you'd think you'd make a mistake doing it. They will come with a bunch of information here to show you the power and the little color codes that it will go with the power, whether it's over 4 volts or under 3 volts. These are the DTMF signal displays here, and it will tell you your DTMF codes. If you want to set a code to retrieve things or anything like that, or set a code that people have to punch in to use this repeater, then you can. If you're on a popular simplex frequency, you might want to use that. However, please don't set this up on national simplex repeater frequencies. Find a frequency that's kind of off. somewhere in the band that's perfect for simplex conversation, and set it up on there to test it. You don't want to set it up on 14652 or anything like that. So if you want to change the password, you can go in through here and do the ##3, and then type in the factory password and type in a new password. You can do it that way, so your password allows you to be the only one that can configure all the remote control functions on this. These are all the other functions where you can turn it on and off. Your working mode can be reset. If you want it to go to sleep, you don't want it to run all night, you can do that. Okay, and this is the back of the instructions too. So enough talking. Let's wire this up. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use today. Today we're just using a plain old Baofeng UV5R Plus. This is the version 2 Plus. You'll notice I have an adapter on here, so I can use a PL239 connector right into that. What we're going to do is probably just keep the stock antenna on it for today. I was testing it into the other antenna, but there's no need to do that with that. But these are some of the adapters you're going to want to buy. I have a whole batch of them here. This is going to be for the project if I need any more adapters. I do have this little power bank here if I wanted to power this unit from it. It's kind of handy. We may try that. I'm not sure that it can do it under 5 volts charging, but we'll see if that works. I do have, of course, the original Baofeng antenna, which we're going to be using. And also down the road with this repeater, if I do want to give it a little more kick, something that I have that I got via a friend is a little 2-meter power amplifier. And it's basically a linear amp. It takes the signal in, and I believe it puts out about 45 watts. This is an old school one from Radio Shack, and I tested it. It does work. And it's got a cigarette lighter adapter plug on there. I don't know that I'm going to keep that. I may just directly wire it to the power supply that's going out. I am going to have one outlet for everything. So it's going to connect to one thing and go out to a power box, power station, whatever. Anyway, this will be used in the build down the road. And that's why I'll have this here, because this is going to be a little patch cable from the radio into this, and then the antenna out. So you're going to transmit into this side, and that's going to go out to your antenna. And through here, you'll get about 45 watts out on FM. So it is kind of really neat. It also does have a bit of a preamp in it too. So that's kind of cool too, because it'll be able to pull in those signals that are possibly a little bit weaker. But we're not going to worry too much about the build yet. I just want to test this thing out and see how well it works on its own. So let me move everything out of the way here, set it up, and we'll try a transmission with it. Alright, so this is ready to roll here. I have it set up into my little TID radio. This seems to work very, very well with this setup. So we are going to be using this as our, I like the audio from this better. We're going to be using this as our repeater, transmitter, sort of. And I'm going to be using the Baofeng. I just decided to switch it out because I like the audio better for the video. But actually, I'm going to keep it like that. I do have it plugged in. One of the things we didn't discuss is the plug that this comes with. Now, you can buy other adapter plugs, but the plugs that it comes with is the Kenwood style, the big and small plug. And you're going to take that plug it in there. You're going to put that into power, and I just plugged that into the wall there to top it off. And we're going to give it a test. We are on 144950. Same as there. Now, you do have to remember to transmit slowly on this, okay? You don't want to transmit quickly. You don't want to be, all right, I'm ready here, W6UTC, because it'll cut you off. So you want to say where you're doing, and I'm standing here, and this is where I'm at. And you keep it keyed for a second, and then you unkey. And that way, you'll get the whole message. So let's give it a shot. I did test it quickly before off camera. So let's give it a shot here. This is W6UTC testing our Simplex repeater. This
is W6UTC testing our Simplex repeater.
See how it cut me off on both ends? Because I wasn't long enough. So let's try it again. This is W6UTC testing the Simplex repeater from Surecom.
This is W6UTC testing the Simplex repeater from Surecom.
See how easy that was? So definitely a very cool little way to extend your range a bit. We are getting a little bit of background noise from the lights up top here, big fluorescents that are shining down on the video. But you see how that works. So this as a project, not only is it fun to build, but it actually has a practical application where this could really come in handy during an emergency. And if you find a nice little out-of-the-way Simplex frequency that's okay for Simplex FM contacts, you got yourself something really, really handy there. I'm going to be setting this up as a portable box, all right? It's going to have, I think I'm going to use this radio because I like it best. It's going to have this radio in it, and it's going to be in the box with this, and it's not going to have power supply, but we'll also put in this guy here, so to give it a little bit of ears and a little bit of power to hear out and work out better, and we'll set up a nice little system. So I definitely like the system. Again, if you're going to do this and you're going to get fancy with it, you're going to need a bunch of different adapters for your different antennas. Mine happens to be this guy right here. No big deal, really easy to put together. Very, very simple system. So definitely liking it, and that is the Surecom SR112 Simplex repeater. It's a portable emergency simplex repeater, or it could just be used for your own entertainment. When we get this built out and boxed up and ready to go, I am going to be driving around town here and testing it out and seeing the performance on it. But for now, I just wanted to make you aware of the product. Now, something I want to address. This particular model that I bought, there's only 2 left. You're going to sell out. Click the link, and you'll see a bunch of others sold by different companies, the same exact simplex repeater. So don't think that you're lost if you can't find the same thing. Anyway, that's the video for today. I will put a link down below to that item. I don't know if they're going to be getting more in, the company that sold me this one, but like I said, there's tons of these on Amazon. So if you click the product link for this and you find one you like, just buy it. It's all the same. They're all the same product. I thank you guys for watching. Like I said, that'll be in my Amazon store. Check out all our links down below. We have our freeze-dried wholesalers link, and don't forget to get your order in if you're interested in some of that comfort food that he now has freeze-dried. You have till Friday this week. And you get a 15% discount just for clicking my link. And if you just want to shop, you still get the 15% discount. It doesn't matter what you buy there. Don't forget our Amazon affiliate store. That'll be there. Our My Patriot Supply link. I noticed a lot of people this month are back to stocking up with My Patriot Supply. I think it's a valid resource. If you want to stock up quickly, say you get 3 months worth of food or 4 weeks worth of food, it's definitely a way to do it. Personally, I like to combine their stuff with canned meats. I think it's really great. They're Alfredo. You throw in a little canned chicken. That thing is great. It's really, really tasty. Don't forget our Thrive Life store down there as well. Thrive Life has some specials this month. If you're interested in becoming a consultant, now's a good time to do it because they got some specials running and you can check them out. Anyway, folks, expect a video on this coming up in the future. We're going to do a little build out, make a nice little portable repeater box. Stay safe and stay prepared.